I've had a couple people ask for updates on my original Monocentropus balfouri female, as well as my Harpactira pulchripes. Reptile Boy 91, who's been a supporter from the very beginning, actually asked me a couple months back, and I meant to do one and completely forgot. So I figured it's time to get one done. So I think I'll do a little feeding while I do this and talk a little bit about them. So the first one I'm going to look at is my female, who's getting quite large. And I don't really want her to escape here, so I'm going to be extra careful. I'm going to have Roan take over the camera for a minute. There you go, bud. Just keep it on here. So what I'm going to do is drop some roaches in, feed her, and then be able to talk about her while hopefully she's just sitting there behaving herself. These guys, temperament-wise, I know I mentioned in the last video, which I shot in February, that one of the things that impressed me the most about them is their temperament. It still impresses me. I haven't gotten a threat posture out of these guys yet, and I've accidentally startled this one a couple times. Once putting the water dish in, I splashed the water on her. She was completely fine. Even today, I went to change out a water dish and had to pull some things away, and she just kind of sculled to the side and sat there. So again, for a baboon species, these guys are relatively docile. Does that mean I'd stick my hand in here? Heck no. But it means that unlike some of my other baboon species, say the OBT, for example, these guys kind of resemble. If I have to do maintenance and stuff, I'm careful, but I'm not really too worried about them charging me. So I'm going to go ahead and drop these guys in and see if she'll take them. She should. She just molted. There's one. I got to get that molt out of there afterwards. And there's two. I'll zoom up a little closer. There she is. The legs, I love them. They're like a smoky blue-gray now. I know a lot of times in photos, I have a funny feeling people throw these on Photoshops and jack up the brightness on the legs. I found that they do have that blue sheen to them, but I haven't seen that bright electric blue except on the slings. I don't care though, because I absolutely love the coloration of these. So again, I'm thinking about doing something with beginner old world or baboon species. This would be at the top of my list. Again, the price is a bit cost prohibitive for some people because these guys do sell. I do believe they're down to $100 a sling, which is a lot better than the $250 they were a year and a half ago, and the $450 or $500 they were a couple years before that. That said, I know that most people don't want to spend that kind of money. However, if you're on the fence and you have the money, my biggest concern with this before I got one was that if it died, that's a big investment to get a small sling and have it die, and slings sometimes die. I will say they're incredibly hardy. The wintertime, they did fantastic, continued to eat. They didn't hibernate. They didn't go anywhere. They've just been a very hardy, fast-growing species. Now, I'll probably dig that molt out of there afterwards and get a measurement of it. I'm guessing she's about 3.5 inches now, so she's putting on some decent size. And again, just easily one of my favorite species now, and not just because of the looks. I don't just pick things because they look pretty. I look for things that have good temperaments, and this one has a fantastic temperament, good growing, good speed with growth, great eating, and then of course the looks. So let me close this one up. We'll feed. I think my sling is going to eat. She could be in pre-molt. Thank you, Rowan, for doing this. Rowan was just supposed to be watching with a catch cup here while I did this, and now he's impromptu recording. There's my sling, which has picked up quite a bit of size as well. I'll open this up and hope she doesn't go bolting. There she is. So I'm going to go ahead and dump one in. I think she's probably in pre-molt, but I'll go drop a roach in. I may end up digging this in out afterwards. Have not been able to sex this one yet. Nope. And that's a threat pose after I just said they don't have them. Yeah, so I'll have to dig that one out afterwards. Oh, there's a little threat pose from one. I've actually never seen that before from them, but I did just drop her. Oh. And there we go. Okay, so I guess she's not in pre-molt. You want to get a little closer up on this one, I'll take it for a second. When I got the sling, she was about 1.125 or so long. She's probably 2.5 inches now. I don't like to ever exaggerate the size on these guys because I know a lot of people out there will throw out these sizes and they're not that big. I'm guessing about 2.5, 2.75 inches or so, but the next time she molts, I'll get a good one on. But again, I did just drop a large roach on her, hence the threat pose, but as you can see, calmed down and ate it. So I'm going to go ahead and close this one up, pass the phone back to Roan. And then the last one, I don't know if I'll be able to get this one to come out, but this is my balfouri female who takes turns being out in the surface all the time and then going back in her den. She did molt recently, so they tend to go back into their dens for a molt. When she's outside, she's kind of cranky, so I'm kind of glad she's using the molt again. But let's see if we can get this one to pop out. You ready? You want to come down a little bit this way? And of course, I didn't put the roach anywhere in it. Nope. A little bit over. She's being shy now. This one, last I knew, was probably about 4 inches or so. I did have her since she was a larger sling. The growth rate on this one was very, very, very slow. They would spend most of the winter hibernating and not eating. I have a funny feeling it was the dryness in the house that triggered this response. I have noticed with the communal I have, the slings tend to eat a lot better than my first 3 that were kept separately did. So again, I'll watch that as they get older and see if it continues, but they're eating machines as compared to these guys when I first got them. I would have to pre-kill stuff. Sometimes they'd eat it, sometimes they wouldn't. When I feed them, I'd often have to give them prey items that were much smaller than what I'd normally give to a spider that size because they seem to be intimidated by the other ones. Oh, she might be coming out a little bit here. Now she's just getting comfortable. So that was a behavior I noted with her and the 2 other ones that I had that matured out to be males. They were definitely a lot more sheepish and a little more skittish. So we'll see as the communal ones get bigger if this is something that continues. Are they still a little more bold? Do they eat better? Ooh, we might get the seer come out here. I'm going to get the cover ready. Oh, perfect. Is she actually going to come out? Now she is, on the other hand, she'd be one that I would consider to be a decent baboon species, but she's also been a little nasty after her last molt. Before that, she'd just scuttle away. She started standing her ground more. I do have pictures of her doing a threat posture or video of her doing a threat posture. Oh, there she goes back in. So they can change attitudes when they molt, which is why I'm watching the H. pulchripes carefully to see if it's something that as she hits maturity, she gets a little nastier. But there they are, the M. balfouri and the H. pulchripes. 2 amazing species, 2 that I believe are very good starter species. The only thing, again, is they're both a little bit cost prohibitive. Although balfouris, I believe now are about, you can find them for $50 a sling if you look carefully, which is a great price and well worth it. Very hardy species as well. So there we go. I'll continue to update them. If I catch this girl out and about, I'll make sure to do an update again. And then when my sling molts, I'll do an update on her as well.